Alright, hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to The King's Speech. I've recorded a bunch of videos today. Most of them should be out on the channel by now. So if you haven't already, please do consider subscribing, commenting, liking, all that good stuff. Because like I mentioned in a couple of the other videos, there's a lot of good content coming out your way this weekend. We're catching up on some Shonen Jump stuff with Akane, Kaiju, Spy Family, the new series that has just dropped, which has everyone talking, which is Goku Rakugai. So if you want to watch that, I have been very, very desperately thirsting over some characters in that. So if you want to see my reactions to it, the video's just dropped. Go give them a like, watch, all that good stuff. Tomorrow, like I mentioned in a couple of other videos as well, we're catching up with Spy Family. Next chapter of Akane, catching up with some more Yona. It's a lot of good content coming your way. You don't want to miss it. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to dive into the next volume of Yona of the Dawn. Volume 33 right here. I'm hoping that this one is going to frustrate me slightly less than the last one, but we shall see, because it looks like it's finally going to give us a little bit more insight into Suwon, so hopefully it delivers on that. Can't believe I'm almost going to be caught up with the series pretty soon. I did not think this was going to happen, but here we are. Alright, so let's get into it with Yona of the Dawn, Volume 33. Sorry, I forgot to do this credit on the last video, but story and art by Mizuho Kusanagi. So we have Chapter 188, Watchful Eyes. You have Gija going, "We absolutely can't go on like this. Since arriving at Hiryu Palace, we haven't left our chambers. We do nothing but eat and sleep, eat and sleep." It's like, the food is tasty, the bedding is soft, there are no bugs, my complexion has improved. Oh, man. Oh, boy. My complexion has improved. Does this place exist to ruin the Dragon Warriors? And you see Sinha just double fisting some steam buns in the background. And it's like, Jaya still hasn't come back. And Sinha's like, it's raining outside. And Zeno's like, maybe he slipped and got his butt stuck in a pot. And as they hear the door rattle, he's like, he's here! And you see Jaya walking in all wet. Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, I just couldn't get free of this pot. Like, you really got stuck in one? And you have Her Highness refused to go see Huck? He's like, yeah. And it seemed like she's not planning to see us. It's like, that can't be. It's like, I don't think she doesn't want to. She was acting strange. And Sinha's like, something happened to Yona? It's like, I'd say so. It's like, but I think she meant it when she said we should stay away. I'm at a loss. I have no idea what to do in the situation. Yona entered this alliance to protect us. I don't want to make things even harder for her. And he's like, did you tell Huck what she said? It's like, not yet. Regardless of Yona's reasoning, it must be tough for Huck that he can't be there guarding her. And you see Yona as she's like fuzzily waking up from her sleep, with Owl just looking at her all cute and adorable. And he's like, good morning. It's like, looks like the rain's let up, It's like, I hope Jaya made it back safely. It's like, are they all okay? It's like, ow, shouldn't you go back to Sinha? And Owl just grabs her hands, just like nuzzling against it all adorably. And she's like, thank you for being here. And it's like, Min-Su. It's like, I'd like to see Suwon. And you see Owl just hungrily going to the steamed buns that Min-Su's bought him for breakfast. And he's like, huh? It's like, could you arrange a meeting? It's like, Your Highness, you shouldn't. It's like, as one of the royal family, I understand the implications of what you told me yesterday. I'll keep the secret. He's like, I'm so sorry for imposing all these difficulties on you. She's like, I'm fine. It's like, she's quite calm. And she's like, I can't see him? He's like, His Majesty is very busy and can't find the time. It's like, I see. I'm very sorry. It's like, I understand. You see, later that evening, she's trying to sneak out on the roof by herself. It's like, if I just keep waiting patiently, I'll never get to see him. It's like, Min-Su and Judo think I'm asleep, so they're not around. It's like, gradually figured out their schedules. Ordinarily, they'd both be far too busy to look after me. I can slip past the guard and go to Suwon's office. It's like, there's a light in his office. He's in there. And as she's about to open the door, she's like, "What's that sound?" You hear top, 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 top. And there's someone standing behind her. Hell is this? And you see this mysterious figure with like this huge scar over one eye. It's like, what? And the person just grabs her and is like, what? Stop! And as you see him this choking, is like, he's strong. She's like, I recognize those eyes. Like, he's gonna kill me. And then Suwon intercedes on her behalf, like pushes him out of the way. It's like, please stand down, Huey. She's her ally right now, and she's unarmed. And you see the guy still giving her the death glare as he slowly kind of retreats back into the shadows. And Suwon's like, go on in. I see a creak and a blam as he shuts the door to his office. And she's like, who was that? It's like, my bodyguard. It's like, his eyes were familiar. It's like, those eyes came after me in the palace. So that was Suwon's bodyguard. It's like, he heaps tabs on anyone who approaches me. Sorry about that. And Yona's still like coughing. It's like, did he choke you? It's like, you're bruised. And you see like this red bruise around her neck. And Suwon stands up and goes, I'll call General Judo to see you to your room. She's like, wait, we need to. And he glances back at her and she goes, I had so many things I wanted to tell him. If I don't see them now, I probably won't be able to get out of my room again. And Suwon's like, if you have nothing to say. And she's silent. She goes, I want permission to come here. And he's like, what? So my activities and who I can see have been curtailed. But if you want me to keep your secret, it would be convenient for you to keep me within reach. And she's like, if you really have a fatal illness, I won't have the satisfaction of punishing you or even a chance to properly grieve. And she's like, and what's more, as the daughter of King Il, I have the right to see how you live your life. She's like, I only wish I could put this on hold. It's like, what's your answer? It's like, very well. See outside, resting against the door with a, whew, thank goodness. This means I can do more now and start gaining information. If I keep my promise, I might be able to change the current situation. It'll be alright. Everyone's safe right now. They're fine. I can do this. I can do this. And you see her like trying to psych herself up. And she's like, you're about to start crying. You hear, I'm beat. And I assume that's Squad 35 coming in after their chores. And she hides behind the walls like, soldiers! It's like, they made us work this late. Today was brutal. It's like, new guy, you know some high-ranking officials, don't you? It's like, and more are coming. It's like, I need to leave quickly. It's like, you should get in touch and complain. And as she's about to run, she hears Huck saying, well, I wouldn't call them acquaintances. She's like, Huck? He's here? He's like, he really is a Sky Tribe soldier. But it's Huck. It's like, it's Huck. And you hear, train us again today. It's like, sure, but try to hold out longer. She's just like smiling and she's looking at him fondly. And he notices the gaze and just like whips his head over to see her. And you have a loud thump. He's like, he's looking over here. No way. It's like, why? And then she looks over to the side and she sees that Hewley's apparently been tailing her. It's like, it's that bodyguard. It's like, no. It's like, if he sees us together, he'll have an excuse to execute Huck, even if I don't say anything. And you hear tuck, 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 and she takes running off. And Huck's following her. And she stuck through a window into an area. And Huck's like, Your Highness? It's like, Your Highness! And she's still saying quiet to us to not get him in trouble. And you see chapter 189, The Crimson Dragon King. Yeah, Her Highness was nearby, but for some reason she couldn't show her face. And I haven't seen droopy eyes again since. Even if this isn't an equal alliance, it's strange that she can't see the dragon warriors. And you see the other squad guys going, we've got more new recruits. Thinks this really means we'll really invade the Kai Empire? And Huck's like, a war? It's like, well, I doubt we'll be deployed right away. They just want to be ready. His Majesty's been watching Kai warily. I guess he's finally making his move. And Huck is like, then Suwon and Judo and Heishuk should be preoccupied. I didn't hear any footsteps but the princesses. Why did she run? It's like, if there is a war, he'll probably be transferred out of Squad 35. It's like, well, of course, he's Koka's most powerful warrior. And Huck's like, there's lots of people better than me, like the Dragon Warriors. I'm like, so modest. It's like, you say that, but if you enter the martial arts tournament, you'd be unstoppable. It's like the truly amazing ones wouldn't enter a tournament. It's like thinking of someone in particular. This fucking apparently background for this dude we just met. And Huck thinks back to an encounter he apparently had with Hewley, where he's like, long ago, there was someone I felt I couldn't defeat. This must be someone related to his father. It's like he was Suwon's sword master, I think. And you see later, King Suwon, I've bought Princess Yuna. As you see Judo and Minsu escorting her to Suwon's office. And you see Hughley like at the very end of the hallway, just glaring at her. And Yona just like stares at him. She's like, I can't stop shaking. So many people have tried to kill me, but none of them were as scary as him. It's like, why though? Your Highness? Are you alright? You're pale. He's like, oh, I feel just fine. It's like, I won't give in. Not in front of Suwon. He's like, I can make some time for you while I'm preparing. He's like, as an ally, I needed to be able to come here to learn about basic internal affairs as well as to discuss future plans. Though I hardly think these discussions will be on equal terms. And you hear Suwon going, have you heard that the Earth Tribe took Kin Province back from South Kai? It's like, he means in the battle in the place Kalgan was from. It's like, yes, South Kai and the Earth Tribe frequently fight over that area's mineral resources. Will there be a large battle? It's like, it's probably unavoidable. It's like, I figured that war with the Kai Empire was inevitable. And right now the Dragon Warriors and Huck are in the palace. If I'm not careful, who knows what they'll make them do. And you see an excuse me. And you have a come in as Keisha comes into the office. It's like, Your Majesty, you're certain you want the Dragon Warriors participating in today's military exercises? And Yona's like taken aback by this. She's like, wait, what? So wait, what are you making them do? And he's like, this isn't being forced on them. They said they'd participate if His Majesty was present. And he's like, does that include Zeno? It's like, yes. And you see Minsu like helping him into his ceremonial robe. And he goes, very well. And Yona's like, Suwon, please don't make them do anything unreasonable. And Keisha's like, they made this decision, Princess Yona. And you hear the door slam and she's like, they asked for this? Why though? And you see, oh, my joints feel so stiff, I can't take it. Huck became a soldier, so we should train too. It's like, Gija, wait. It's like, if you go wild, it's like, hey. So, but if they overdo it and collapse again, if they're treated horribly during battle, it's like, no amount of Senju can handle that. And Minsu's like, Princess, is Senju a particularly well-known herb? I'm told its healing properties are incredible. And Yona's like, huh? It can cut healing time by 1/3. And he's silent before he goes, excuse me, I'm going to the library. Please wait here for a while. And as he leaves, Yona's like, the office looked completely different during Father's time. A king's busy schedule, all these documents, it wouldn't be strange for his health to suffer. But even if he's a member of the royal family, he went out of his way to hide Lady Yeon-hee's death. This is no ordinary illness. When any member of the royal family dies, suspicion arises. And you see a little clink as a little trinket falls down. And she thinks back to Yona, you were born under a red star. No matter what happens, you won't be alone. Is that her mother? What the hell? Feels like it's been so long since I've read stuff relating to that. I can't recall what this is related to. But as she's holding it, she's like, was my brother really killed in an attack by bandits? I honestly cannot even remember the last time we had any information about her mother. And you see outside Squad 35 going, hey, look there. You know, huh? And a whoosh. You see all the dragon warriors getting ready. It's like, wow, it's like those are the dragons. It's like, I didn't expect them here. It's like amazing. They look so godly. It's like, hey, focus on training. You slack off, they might hurl rocks at you. And Hawk's like, those guys, what are they doing? And Gijo's like, seeing this many soldiers is truly remarkable. So Yuno's like, we're finally outside. It's like, I would have preferred to see court ladies. So Yuno's like, I found Huck. And you hear Judo going, all squads, assemble! You have a Tromp as Suwon's making his way out. It's like, you want us to participate in military exercises? And Keishuk's like, that's right. We'll be holding large-scale drills today with our new recruits. We'd like you Dragon Warriors to display your powers to inspire the troops. It's like, very well. He's like, however, we'll do things our way. So that was Keishuk talking to the Dragon Warriors. He goes, now, White Dragon, please bless us with a display of your power. He's like, I require an opponent. And he's like, go, Rappa. And he's like, what? And Rappa goes to face off against him. It's like, I don't think Sir Rappa will survive this. It's like, this might be a tragedy, not an inspiration. And you see, as he takes out a sword and just starts rushing Gija. It's like, he's not evading? It's like, look out, White Dragon! And Keisha calls out, Rappa! who freezes right before Sword's about to strike Gija. And he's just like panting, like, It's like, what? It's like, why won't you move? And Keishuk's like, explain yourself, White Dragon. He's like, our only master is the Crimson Dragon King, which is to say Princess Yona. The powers of the 4 dragon warriors will activate only at her command. If you really want to use our powers, then bring her highness here. Don't think you can take the Crimson Dragon King from us. And you see a silence as Keishuk's like, an act of open defiance. Are they trying to humiliate his majesty? And Suwon's like, oh, well that's alright. Even without your powers, Koka's army's unbeatable. Just take it easy as you have been. As for you new recruits, study your more experienced brethren's techniques closely. You are the pride of our nation, our strongest warriors. They're all like, oh, your majesty. He's like, wait, I'm still speaking of her highness, as Suwon just turns and walks away. And he sees an angry look on his face, a little bit too shaded to tell. And Zeno notices though, and he grabs onto his arm and goes, okay, Zeno will chat with the king some more. And Judo's like, your majesty. He's like, it's fine, just a chat as he said. Take care of things here. And Gija's like, Zeno! And as they're walking away, he's like, are you alright? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, your health seems worse since we last saw you. Someone's like, what? It's like, you sometimes have excruciating headaches, don't you? Don't bother pretending. I am the yellow dragon Zeno with the power of immortality. It's like, I know about your mother. Jaeha's like, Zeno? It's like, I know the symptoms. And Sinda's like, Suwon's like, please stop. He's like, you have the Crimson Sickness, which only afflicts the Crimson Dragon King's bloodline. I have to do some research after this, apparently. He's like, he what? It's like, Zeno! It's like, just as the Dragon Warrior's blood was passed down to all of you over the ages, the Crimson Dragon King's was too. In secret. That blood now runs in the young king's veins. He is descended from the Crimson Dragon King. So you have chapter 190, Ancestral Bloodline. Oh. It's like, descended from the Crimson Dragon King? Him? It's like, when I met her highness, I felt a shock as if I'd been struck by lightning. But I don't sense anything from him. You have the young lady is the Crimson Dragon King's reincarnation. Lineage is irrelevant. We resonate with the Crimson Dragon King's soul. The Crimson Dragon King had 5 children, but the Dragon Warriors only served him. And Jaeha's like, if Yona's not also part of that lineage, then he must have inherited it through his mother. He's bound by blood, just like the Dragon Warriors. And Gija's like, her highness doesn't know you're descended from the Crimson Dragon King, does she? And Suwon's like, I don't think she knows. And he sways as Jaeha supports him. He's like, are you okay? It's like, It's like, so she really is the Crimson Dragon King's reincarnation. And he thinks back to Il telling him she's an incarnation of the Crimson Dragon King. It's like, I did wonder how that could be proved. It's like, they resonate with the soul? When the Dragon Warriors say so, it feels absolute. The Crimson Dragon King, huh? That's the last thing the world needs. And he's saying, oh, oops, as Yona's knocked over a stack of books in Suwon's office. He's like, these piles are way too tall. Now, what order were these in? She's like, And she sees on the little bottom shelf, there's a box wrapped like a little ribbon. It's like, a box? And she lifts the lid off and is like, cute bookmark. I thought something being kept in a box would be more arcane. And as she opens up the book, she's like, it's Lady Yonhee's journal. It starts before she married Uncle Yuhan. And she goes, the Crimson Sickness has claimed my father. It's like, that would be Suwon's grandfather. It's like, one day it will claim me too. It's like, the Crimson Sickness? It's like, I am the Crimson Dragon King's lineage, much as I wish otherwise. And she's like, Lady Yonhee's lineage? The Crimson Dragon King's lineage? The Crimson Dragon King? It's like, then that means Suwon is descended from the Crimson Dragon King? And she just kind of like falls to her knees in shock. It's like, wait, slow down. What does it mean? And the Crimson Sickness, what he suffers from is no ordinary illness? It's like, Lady Yonhee, I don't know anything about you or Suwon. Please tell me more. Have a ding ding, as I assume we're getting into a flashback. Yeah, as we saw a flashback to teenage Lady Yonhee going, the Crimson Sickness has claimed my father. My family is believed to be descended from the Crimson Dragon King, a god of our nation from the Age of Myths. We're just ordinary people, though. It's nothing special. It doesn't grant us any great powers. The one thing that marks us as unusual is that over half of our tribe suffers from an incurable illness. Father said that the dragon gods were trying to call the Crimson Dragon King back to the heavens. That's why he wasn't sad. And you see later her going, Mother, I'm going to buy provisions. And as she walks away, the mother's like, Yonhi, don't be long. It's like, I won't. It's like, and go carefully. You're a child of a special tribe with sacred blood. We who are still here must protect that. She's like, I know. It's like, Mother, does protecting this blood benefit the world in any way? It's like, I couldn't bring myself to ask that. Her way of thinking is the reason we've survived. I hate the thought of just accepting my brief life. If the dragon warriors existed like in the legends, maybe things would improve. And you see a clink as she sees Zeno up on a hilltop watching her. And she's like, a child? Is he looking at me? Must be my imagination. It's like my lineage is kept strictly secret. Revealing it to outsiders is forbidden. That's why we live a quiet life here. It's like the capital must be such a bustling place. I'm told that Koka is currently prosperous and safe under King Junam's rule. It's like I'd like to see him, but people say Prince Yuhan is extremely scary. He's famous for being an invincible commander. Rumor has it he punishes anyone who defies him. I wonder where this is going. And she's like, no, like shaking her head. She's like, I can't go to the capital. And she hears a scream. It's like, oh my, a falcon. You're eek! As the falcon comes down, like starts attacking. He's like, what's happening? He's like, it hurts. Father, save me. You hear Jeek? What the hell's Jeek? Oh, sorry, that's the falcon's name. It's like, Jeek. It's like, stop, Jeek. And you see someone coming in, like what looks like a different version of Huck coming in, just like cradling her, protecting her from the falcon. It's like, stop, Jeek. Calm down. It's me. Calm yourself, Jeek. The falcon comes like light down on his shoulders. Like, that's better. It's like he's mad because he's hungry. He's like, sorry about that. And she's like, oh, so you probably wanted that boar meat I'm carrying. You're welcome to have it for your falcon. It's like, oh, but if he was trying to eat me, I'm afraid that's not an option. He just starts laughing. He's like, in that case, I'll gladly take it. As you hear a loud gurgle. It's like, actually, I'm starving too. So it's like, oh no, wait. He's like, why? He's like, you can't have it back. It's like, you can keep it. It's like, that meat's raw. Eating it like that will upset your stomach. He's like, anything Jeek can eat, I can eat. He's like, you'll get a stomachache. It could even kill you. It's like, interesting. We'll see if it's me or the boar who dies. Like, It's like, it's already dead. You're the only one who will die. And with a gulp, he just gulps the meat down. And he's like, oh, it's like disgusting. I should have salted it. It's like, what a difficult person. I'm going home. And then her leg throbs and she falls with a slump. It's like, what's wrong? It's like, my foot. It's like, it's nothing. I'll be going. It's like, you sprained it, huh? When Jeek attacked you? It's like, I'll see you home. Where do you live? It's like, I can't bring a guest home. It's like, no, don't worry. It's like, it's repayment for the meat. Don't be so humble. It's like, really, it's fine. It's like, what should I do? Turning him down is difficult. He just grabs her and he's like, Eep. It's like, Agrada, get over here. You see Agrada is his horse. And he puts her on. He's like, where do you live? It's like, please put me down. It's like, hurry and tell me. This guy's just fidgeting with her nails. It's like, Agrada, let's go. It's like, huh? Go where? It's like, if you won't tell me where you live, I'll take you to my place. It's like, what? It's like, wait, It's like, your foot won't take your weight and you're all scratched up. If you won't tell me where you live, what choice do I have? It's like, you're way more stubborn than you look. It's like, you're far too pushy. It's like, I have things I need to do. It's like, we're not going far. I'll get you something tasty. It's like, please listen. It's like, far tastier than that meat earlier. It's like, that meat is delicious if you cook it properly. He's like, let's fly. He's like, please listen. As he just takes off at a gallop. Yeah, where are we? It's like, in Kuto. It's like, Kuto? It's like, I came all the way to Kuto? It's like, mother. It's like, is it your first time here? It's like, what do I do? I'm right in the heart of the nation. If anyone learns about my tribe. It's like, hey, don't keep your head down. Look around. It's like, this is the best place in the world. It's the City of Lights. It's like, the City of Lights? It's like, do you like it? She just nods. It's like, right. First, let's get you treated. It's like, let's go. He's like, how far are we going? It's like, the finest doctors are in the palace. You'll be as good as new. It's like, huh? And you hear, oh, it's Prince Yuhan. Prince Yuhan, did you just get back? How was your hunt? It's like, I ate some boar meat. It's like, amazing. It's like, that's our prince. You can catch a boar with a falcon? He's like, huh, wait, you're Prince Yuhan? He just grins at her. He's like, Prince Yuhan, did you catch that woman with your falcon too? He's like, sure did. It's like, a great catch, He's She's like, what? It's like, right to the palace. Like, what's your name? He's got like, tilts her head back, like, your name. She's like, it's, Yon He. So you have chapter 191, Yon He's journal. And you see, welcome back, Prince Yuhan. She's like, so this is the palace where the progenitor of my people was laid to rest. I never imagined I'd set foot here. And you hear, Yuhan, brother! It's like Il and Mundok. And you see, God, King Il looks so baby-faced. Like, look at that. That is a child. That is not a man. It's like, I didn't realize you were coming. It's like, how you been? It's like, in good health, thankfully. It's like, brother, did you take Jeek hunting without anyone accompanying you again? That's dangerous. It's like, Jeek is all the bodyguard I need. It's like, falconry, huh? Wonderful. Care to come? Did you see care to come along sometime? It's like, I'd love to. It's like, I want you to come too. And Il's like, I need to worship at the temple. It's like, you still lower your head to those priests? It's like, I'm praying, not bowing my head to a priest. Even father goes once a month. You should at least go several times a year. And Yuhan's like, who wants to go to that revolting temple? It's like, to pray to the Crimson Dragon King, just look to the heavens. And he's like, don't shrink in on yourself. State your opinion. Do you want people to look down on you even more? And you see that baby Il is apparently still very timid. And Mundok's, and who's this young lady, Prince Yuhan? And he's like, oh, Jeek swooped down and injured her, so I brought her here. And Il's like, what? That's terrible. Are you all right? You must have been terrified. And she's like, I'm fine. It's nothing serious. It's like, well, that's a mercy. It's like, take care. It's like, I will. It's like, summon a doctor. And you see Yuhan going, summon a doctor. And you see later that night that as Yuhan's having a drink, Yon He is looking all gussied up. And he's like, that looks lovely on you. It's like, but Prince Yuhan, that hairpin doesn't go well with bandages. It's like, right? It's like, no, it's all the rage in the country. It's like, what am I doing here? It's like, I want to go home. He's like, the bandages are to hold medicinal herbs to her forehead. She's not severely injured. And one of the ladies serving him is like, take me along next time you and your falcon hunt. It's like, women get in the way. It's like, oh, but I'm a fine rider, and I don't fear birds of prey. It's like, I wish Il showed half as much initiative. It's like, Prince Il? It's like, falconry doesn't suit Prince Il. He might burst into tears. It's hard to believe he's really your brother, Prince Yuhan. I think you inherited all the princely qualities when you were born, leaving none for him. I can't help but pity him. And Yon He's silent before she goes, Prince Il showed concern over someone like me. And they're like, what of it? It's like, my anxiety melted away to nothing. He has the ability to put his people at ease. That shut them all up. As they go, I bought your meal. It's like, oh, I wonder what that is. It's like, it sure smells tasty. And Yuhan's like, you won't be staying for dinner. Get out. It's like, oh my. It's like, well, hurry and go. And Yon He's like, I should be going too. Thank you so much tending to my... It's like, you stay here. I said I'd repay you for the boar meat. He's like, thank you very much. See, there's an awkward silence as they're eating. She's like, after I eat this, I need to leave. He's like, nothing makes you smile, does it? And she's like, oh, it's quite delicious. He's like, and he goes, the women here are instantly all smiles if you give them jewels or food. You're way more difficult. And she's like, does he want me to be more cheerful? She's like, those women who are here, aren't they your wives? He's like, they're prospective concubines. They can be gutsy and funny, but I don't want to marry anyone who talks so much. I'm looking for a woman I can trust. She's like, is that so? And she's like, I really thought they were his wives. And he's like, you seem like someone I might be able to trust. It's like, what? Me? But it's like, we've only just met. It's like, we've only just met. It's like, you didn't look down on my brother. It's like, there must be many women who respect she goes, there must be many women who respect Prince Il. And he goes, if there are few of them, come to the palace. It's as you saw, he's always lowering his head and watching people's reactions. It annoys me too. And she's like, oh, but Prince Yuhan invited Prince Il to go hunting. It must mean that's something he wants the two of them to do together. I wonder if he's annoyed because he wishes he and his brother meshed better. His words are harsh but very passionate. He just kind of smiles. He's like, what's got you smiling? She's like, huh? It's like, just now, what made you smile? She's like, huh? It's like, was the food good? It's like, that's not... It's like, no? It's like, be honest with me. I don't know what you like. She's like, the food is delicious. She's like, I bet you'd get mad if I said I found him endearing. She's like, Prince Yuhan, could I have my clothes back? She's like, don't you like those? You can keep them. He's like, I can't accept these. If I wore such splendid clothes at home, I'd stand out too much. He's like, you're leaving? He's like, are you going to let me leave? He's like, okay, I'll see you home. She's like, what? He's like, you don't have to go out of your way to do that. He's like, I can't trouble you further. He's like, have a grot saddled. He's like, wait a minute, will you? And you see back on the horse, he's like, where do you live? She's like, we've come full circle. He's like, right here is fine. He's like, where she was attacked by Jeek. He's like, doesn't your foot still hurt? He's like, I can't ever bring guests home, especially guests like Prince Yuhan. He's like, honestly, I propose a compromise. I'll release you here, but I want you to come here again in 7 days. If you agree, I'll let you off. And she's like, fine. He's like, great, it's a promise. You're Yonhi, where did you go? It's so late. Are you injured? He's like, I'm very sorry. I had a bit of a tumble. He's like, I'm sorry, mother. I made a promise. And you see later that he's sitting by the tree waiting for her. He's like, Prince Yuhan. He's like, great, you came. He's like, I bought deep-fried dumplings in the palace town. Let's eat them here. It's like, from then on, we met up every 7 days. We just walked around the field and he'd tell me about the other tribes. I didn't think it was a good idea to see him, but he looked so happy when he saw me. I was like, it's hard to say no. It's like, Prince Yuhan, don't you have a lot to do? Am I keeping you from your duties? And he's like, I'm here because I want to be. Don't turn me away so indirectly. It's like, you're a trustworthy woman. And she's like, oh, I thank you. It's like, remember I told you that I wanted to marry a woman I could trust? And she's like, is that what we were talking about? It's like, that's right. You need to listen. She starts blushing. He's like, huh? What? No way. And he looks at her. He's like, I'm joking. It's like, well, see you in 7 days. And she's still blushing. It's like a joke. He was just teasing. That would never happen. Joke or not, that was the first time a man said anything like that to me. And you see later her mother going, Yonhi, come here. It seems you've been meeting an outsider lately. What's more, I hear he's from Kuto. Is that true? It's like, yes. So did you tell him about our tribe? It's like, no, not a word. He doesn't even know where I live. I've just become a bit familiar with him. And she's like, the secret of our tribe's blood is absolute. Do you understand? We cannot allow our sacred blood to be defiled by such vulgar individuals. It's like, I understand. It's like, you are never to see that man again. Understand? It's like, I do. It's like, I knew that this day would eventually come. It's like, this was for the best. Prince Yuhan is next in line for the throne. Our relationship can't go any further. Right now, we can still let go. After a failed attempt or two, I'm sure he'll tire of coming here. And you see her just leaning on a broom and she's looking all despondent. She's like, Mother, I'm going out to buy food. And she's like, it's been a few months. I wonder how Prince Yuhan is doing. Perhaps he's off hunting with his brother. And she hears a falcon screeching. It's like, Jeek? Could he be nearby? It's like, but I haven't been to that place since I last saw him. And she sees him standing by the tree. She's like, Prince Yuhan. Oh, God. And he just looks like he's about to cry and he just goes and wraps her in a hug. He's like, why didn't you come? This guy waited so many times. This guy, I'm so sorry. It's like, I haven't been able to sleep. It's like, don't make me feel this way anymore. It's like, but it's like, not a woman you can trust. It's like, what do you mean? Are you an enemy spy? It's like, if you are, I don't care. None of that matters to you anymore. He just kisses her. I will say, I do like this romance. You have chapter 192, the palace that echoes with the voice of a god. You have Yonhi, are you inconvenienced at all? Do you want anything? He's like, no. It's like, if there's something, tell me. It's like, I will. Yeah, it's been 3 months since Prince Yuhan and I were engaged, and I began living at Hiryu Palace. Thinks back to him telling her, I want you more than anything. Come with me. The decision was too important to make on my own, so I introduced him to my mother. When my mother saw him, she bowed to the inevitable and told him the secret of our tribe. And he goes, the Crimson Dragon King's descendants? She goes, as a prince, you must see me as a mother who doesn't know her place, claiming to belong to a legendary king's lineage. But if you insist on making my daughter your wife, I must tell you this. My life and the fate of our tribe are at stake. My mother told him how our tribe had once claimed to be the Crimson Dragon King's rightful heirs and planned a rebellion against the royal family of the day. She told him how the public saw us as liars and were hostile to us, and how most of us were punished for it, and we now live quietly and keep our heritage secret. She also told him that the people of our tribe are often short-lived, thanks to the high chance that we'll be afflicted with the crimson sickness. And he goes, Yon He and any child she bears may suffer from the crimson sickness. King Junna would never allow you to take a wife from a tribe like ours. It's like Prince Yuhan listened quietly for a while, but he goes, so as long as he doesn't find out, it's fine. It's like, huh? It's like, if no one learns the secret, it won't become a problem. It's not like it's an infectious disease. It's like, you believe what I'm telling you? It's like, whether it's true or not doesn't matter to me at all, and I have no way of confirming it. It's like, but she might die young. And he's like, she also might not. I could die any day too. Why should I give her up because of that? If you want to live in peace, I'll make sure your entire tribe is left alone. I promise you. I will protect Yon He and all of you. And the mother just bows down to him. And so I kept my lineage a secret and came to live in the palace. A few in my tribe felt that if I joined the royal family, I could publicly claim to be the Crimson Dragon King's rightful heir. It's like, but most of my tribe has become cautious and timid. And Yuhan's like, there's nothing for you to worry about. I'll take care of everything. I got my father's approval too. It's like, what's annoying is that those priests insist we use their temple for our wedding ceremony. It's like, I will never use that temple. It's bad enough that the priests meddle in politics under the guise of divination. My father and Il take them seriously. Once I become king, I'll make changes. You see later as she's wandering the palace grounds. It's like, Prince Yuhan has gone to tend to his duties. He's come leaving Hewley as your bodyguard. He's unbelievably strong. You'll be perfectly safe. He's like, Hewley. It's like Hewley always keeps his distance. Like you see him just like specter walking behind her. It's like, honestly, I feel quite lonely being left alone in the palace. Even if I do have a bodyguard. Like she's afraid of Hewley. You see a tum-tum-tum as the little kid's running by with a boom and an oof. It's like, are you hurt? It's like, I'm fine. Sorry for startling you. Oh, it's baby Iksu. It's like adorable. It's like, Iksu, don't run. You'll always trip and fall. It's like, I'm sorry. And Yon, he's like, your little brother? And you see this dark-haired lady just staring at her. And it's like, sorry about that. No, we're not siblings. I'm Kashi, a priestess in training at the temple. This is Iksu. He's a priest in training. It's like, a priestess and a priest? It's like, in training. So we were picking flowers to give visitors to our temple. And you're Lady Yon He, aren't you? It's like, you know who I am? It's like, yes, you're quite famous. Prince Yuhan rejected all marriage offers from the nobility and chose a commoner as his wife. She's like, I still can't believe that I'm getting married. And Kashi? Yeah, Kashi's like, I was a bit surprised that he chose someone like you. It's like, I understand, we're quite different. So that's not what I meant. It's like, Prince Yuhan despises the temple, so I thought he'd rejected the worship of the Crimson Dragon King. But perhaps we might find a compromise after all. It's like, yes, that's true. If he had rejected the Crimson Dragon King, I wouldn't have come. She's like, huh? How did talking about how Prince Yuhan had chosen me lead to discussing the worship of the Crimson Dragon King? You're, Miss Yon He, out for a walk? As Il comes up behind her, it's like, Prince Il. It's like, since you're not used to palace life, it must be difficult. Take your time in the garden. It's like, Kashi, Iksu, you're both looking well. It's like, thank you very much. It's like, Prince Il, please don't be so formal with someone like me. It's like, in that case, you shouldn't be so formal with me since you're to be my elder sister. And like, it's like, I really do feel at ease with him. It's like, in that case, I'll stop being formal. He's like, I sure am looking forward to your wedding. Being blessed at the temple will bring you eternal happiness. And she's like, well, about that. He's like, what? My brother doesn't intend to hold a ceremony there? It's like, that's right. So, but that can't be. Your marriage might not be acknowledged. He's like, what? It's like, the Crimson Dragon King is a symbol of Koka. If we cherish him, the dragon gods protect us. Neglecting that will lead to ruin. Don't you see? When you and my brother are blessed at the temple, it guarantees Koka stability. It's like, Prince Il. It's like, I'm directly descended from the Crimson Dragon King, and the only thing that has blessed us with is early deaths. I have no idea if worshipping him is really tied to the stability of Koka. He's like, oh, I know. Here to visit the temple now? It's like, the temple? It's like, I'm heading there for my morning prayers. The high priest is sure to show you the best path forward. You'll understand when you meet him. It's like, are you two coming too? Kashi and Iksu are like, yes, yes. And you see, oh no, it's like, are you all right? As Iksu does another splat. It's like, there, let's hold hands. It's like, Kashi, take his right hand. I'll hold his left. Slowly, okay? As they're watching, they walk along like a little family. Yon He's like, Prince Il is so kind. Prince Yuhan knows how wonderful his brother can be. If only the two of them could find a compromise over the temple. Jeva, this is it? It's impressive, isn't it? Even compared to priests of the past, I think our current high priest is a genuine marvel. It would be wonderful to have a wedding ceremony here. And Yon, he's like, honestly, it looks more impressive than the main hall of Hiryu Palace. Jab, I pray here every day for the stability of our nation. And you have Iksu going, oh, master! It's like, High Priest, I'm sorry I'm little late today. It's like, the Crimson Dragon King is quite forgiving. And Yon, he's like, I understand why Prince Yuhan despises this temple. This place was built so that the High Priest can look down at the members of the royal family kneeling before him. And you see Il going, High Priest, I brought someone very special here today. This is Miss Yonhee. She and my brother have recently become engaged. And you see the High Priestess like staring at her surprised with a thumb. She's like, this is bad. It's like, I need to get out of here quickly. It's like, why do I sense something divine about you? And he's slowly like zombie like heading towards her. And Il's like, High Priest? It's like, I've never felt anything like it. Could you possibly be? Kashi's like, I felt it too, High Priest. I sense the blood of the Crimson Dragon King within her. And he just has like an orgasmic falling. He's like, It's like, you sense it too, Kashi? What good fortune? He's like, wait. It's like, what a twist of fate. And he's like, what are you talking about? What about Miss Yonhee? It's like, Prince Il. She is a descendant of the Crimson Dragon King. It's like, what? It's like, I've believed for so long that his bloodline still survives somewhere in this world. It's like, no, please, I'm just an ordinary person. It's like, I understand. The Crimson Dragon King took human form too. And Il's like, the blood of the Crimson Dragon King? He's like, amazing. Does this mean your tribe has passed this blood down since the age of myths? It's like, Prince Il. It's like, where's your family now? Do the 4 dragon warriors live among you? It's like, Prince Il, And you see Yuhan angrily barging and going, Il! It's like, Prince Yuhan. It's like, Il, why did you bring Yonhee here without my permission? You know how I despise this temple. It's like, brother, did you know she's the Crimson Dragon King's blood kin? It's like, what is this nonsense? Have you spent so much time here that it's turned your brain? And he just kind of grabs her and goes, Yonhee, let's go. It's like, you knew, didn't you? It's like, what? It's like, we're brothers. I know when you're lying. Why are you hiding this? The sacred blood of the Crimson Dragon King is returned to the palace. This is wonderful. It's the will of the heavens. He goes, you're making no sense. Yonhee isn't a god. It's like, why hide it? It's like, did you think if I learned she was descended from the Crimson Dragon King, I'd want her too? Or perhaps, despite mocking my reverence for him, you wanted the Crimson Dragon King too. You were trying to keep his blood all to yourself. And you see, oh God, Yuhan just punching him out as he knocks him down with a thud. And everyone's watching in shock. As you have, the priests had learned of my heritage. That was the spark that ignited their horrible persecution. And you see later, is this a side story? Yeah, it's a bonus chapter. Alright, I'm not going to go through the bonus chapter for this stuff because it's not relevant. But I am glad this volume finally gave us answers to some questions I've been having for a while. We're finally getting some background on Yuhan and God, why do I not remember Yonhee's romance and everything? I will say I really, really loved the way that their romance played out. Like, it gave me chills watching it, like the slow affection building, all the glances and everything, the way it built up. I really enjoyed those parts of it. Yeah, it looks like we're getting to the heart of the conflict, which, again, I'm curious how this is going to play out, because it looks like they're making the heart of the conflict the whole, the divine powers inherent in, becoming a ruler, and kind of the separation of, church and state, and, the ones who support that and the ones who don't support that. So I'm curious how that is going to play out. Apart from that, I feel like there is a deliberate contrast between Yuhan being, the more muscular, gruff, guarded, more direct persona, contrast with Il, who's more feminine, not really, but looks more timid, not as direct, much more religious than Yuhan is. So it's interesting seeing the contrast between the two brothers. So it feels like this is probably what. So I feel like Yuhan probably did a compromise to let Il take over being king because he didn't want the whole like news about. Because I feel like Yuhan realized or understood that if he took over as king, the information about Yon He's heritage being descended from the Crimson Dragon King would get out, would make life like infinitely more difficult for them. So I feel like he knew that, and he made like a compromise to let Il become king instead, so that he could kind of have Yon He live in peace rather than being like worshipped, persecuted, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. It definitely looks like it's heading towards portraying or us learning that King Il actually was the real antagonist. Like, he's going to be driven by his religious fervor and probably going to be brainwashed by the high priest to some extent. Is the implication that Il married Kashi and she's Yona's mother? Because she looks very similar, but again, it's been a very long time since I've read the chapters regarding that, so I'm not completely 100% on that. But that also presents some interesting possibilities. I'm gonna mull my thoughts over a little bit on this, and probably when I do the next video, or maybe I'll do some kind of review thing once I mull my thoughts over on this with regards to this stuff. But yeah, much better than the last volume. I think I enjoyed this one a lot more. Definitely more intrigued by where the story's going from here. So we have ones with that. I will say I have a theory that was running through my mind when reading this. Is Yona gonna supercharge the Senju herb and manage to cure the Crimson Dragon sickness? I feel like I've had this as like a thought in the back of my mind throughout this series, is that I feel like by the end they're gonna find a way to have the dragon's powers like go back to heaven, whatever it is, or like dissipate away or something. Because I feel like that's the only way a lot of these conflicts and threats will be solved, is if they can remove the divinity from all of this, so that everyone kind of just go back to their normal lives without having to worry about the worship, being worshipped, divinified, persecuted, all that stuff. I feel like that's the only way they're gonna get around this. But we'll see. Because I'm curious. So the fact they're bringing up the Senju herb so much, I feel like it's more than just a throwaway. So I wonder if they're gonna find a way to supercharge it with, I don't know, the Crimson Dragon King's powers or something to be able to cure the sickness. But we'll see. We'll throw that out there later for some ideas. But yeah, like I mentioned, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like I mentioned, there's going to be, look for more stuff to drop tomorrow. We'll try to get to 2 more volumes of Yona tomorrow if I can, but I've also got Akane, Spy Family, more Goku Rakugai to get to as well. So depending on how I'm feeling, based on that. Like I also mentioned, there'll be a channel update tomorrow as well, so look forward to that. As I mentioned at the beginning, if you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, because like I mentioned, there's a lot of good content coming your way. And subscribing helps me out a lot. So until next time, this is Ash. I will talk to you all later.